Top 10 wide receivers in the Big Ten. Hint, they all play in Columbus. No, just kidding. Well, almost. Appreciate y'all stopping by for the best in discussion, debate, and analysis of college football. Please hit the like button and subscribe right here at the Voice of College Football. Please check out the other videos as well, the running backs and the quarterbacks. Leave your comments below. We've reviewed 21 Big Ten wide receivers for 2024. Keep in mind, we've got the 4 teams coming in from the West Coast, so 18 teams to look at. And surprise, 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 the list is not filled with players from Indiana and Rutgers. But Nebraska checks in at number 10. It is one Jamal Banks from Wake Forest. 59 catches, 653 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Those numbers at Wake Forest. And he didn't even have a quarterback in 2023. A lot of upheaval. Of course, Sam Hartman had moved on to Notre Dame. Injuries as well with Wake Forest, and Jamal Banks still able to put up those kind of numbers. And in his career at Winston-Salem, 107 catches, 13 touchdowns, had a big day against Clemson in 2022 in a 51-45 double OT battle, 6 catches for $141. He ranked in the top 5 in contested catch rate in the ACC in 2022. And also near the top of college football at number 10 on our list to get us started, Jamal Banks, Huskers. There may not be a wide receiver on this list who is needed more than this guy in Happy Valley this fall. He's a decent wide receiver, but he needs to get better, make bigger plays, make more of an impact against the better teams. It's Keandre Lambert-Smith. 53 catches, 673 through the air, 4 touchdowns. When Drew Aller cut it loose, he usually went to this guy when he went deep downfield. In his 5th year, he's got 126 catches and 11 touchdowns. He had a big Rose Bowl against Utah 2 seasons ago. 3 catches for $124 and a touchdown. Big opener in 2023 against West Virginia. 4 for $123 and 2 touchdowns. And then, of course, when Penn State was struggling against Indiana, Drew Aller had just thrown his first career interceptions. It was Keandre Lambert-Smith down the right sideline for the game winner against the Hoosiers at number 9 on our list, and very much needed. Keandre Lambert-Smith, Penn State. 4 recruiting cycles ago, Penn State thought it had the number 1 wide receiver in the country, thought he was going to stay home in Philadelphia, travel across state, and play for the Nittany Lions. But as many do, he found his way to Columbus. Julian Fleming now going back to Penn State to play for the hometown Nittany Lions. Former 5-star, number 1 wide receiver in the country. 2 seasons ago, started to show what he could finally do. And of course, that's a difficult lineup to crack in Columbus. So, like Julian Fleming, if you get hurt, then you fall behind. Other guys lap you when the room is full of 5-stars. But 2 seasons ago, he did show that he could break out, play big, and make big catches in the big games. 34 catches, 6 touchdowns. Did not catch a touchdown for the Buckeyes and Kyle McCord in 2023, but he is lining up for Penn State to finish off his college career and hopefully make it to the NFL, and he could make a huge impact. He's got the talent. Can he stay on the field? Number 8 on our rankings, Julian Fleming, Penn State. As we continue up the rankings in the Big Ten wide receiver list here at the Voice of College Football, we go to another former number 1 rated wide receiver coming out of high school. Another 5-star, this time at USC. He is not proven to be injured because he's only played 1 season his freshman year. 31 catches, 320 yards, and 2 touchdowns from one Caleb Williams. He is Zachariah Branch, and of course, he is going to be the number 1 threat for one Miller Moss. So at number 7 in our rankings, Big Ten wide receivers, Zachariah Branch, USC. Of course, one of the big storylines across the Big Ten last offseason going into 2023 was the Wisconsin passing attack. Tanner Mordecai and spreading out the defense 5 wide, throwing the ball more. Well, Wisconsin did throw the ball more than they had under previous head coaches. However, they didn't throw it always effectively in a 7-6 season. But when they did, on the receiving end was typically Will Pauling, who had a breakout year, especially in the bowl game against LSU. 8 catches, a buck 43 and 2 touchdowns in that bowl almost win, lost by 4, had a 2-touchdown lead twice in that game, but Will Pauling finished off well. The former Cincinnati transfer, 74 catches, 837 yards, and 6 touchdowns, including a touchdown against Ohio State as the Badgers stayed close in Madison. Of course, Pauling's going to be working with Tyler Van Dyke, the incoming Miami transfer quarterback. Keep in mind that Van Dyke's favorite target, Xavier Restrepo at Miami. Will Pauling, the new Xavier Restrepo for TVD. At number 6 in our wide receiver rankings here at the Voice of College Football in the Big Ten, Will Pauling, Badgers. How can this be? We're doing wide receiver rankings in the Big Ten. We've gone through 5 players and no Buckeyes. How can that be? Well, the top 5 bleed scarlet and gray. Looking at number 5, we got Carnell Tate. Looking at number 5, we got Carnell Tate, who last offseason was the latest in the Buckeye wide receivers that were hailed for their just extraordinary play in practice, that they were the next thing. And then, of course, he started on the bench, couldn't get on the field until midseason. Then they started to break him into the lineup. 18 catches, 264, and a touchdown. A lot of the things that we're hearing about Jeremiah Smith this offseason, we were hearing about Carnell Tate a season ago. Expect more from him, and Ohio State throwing the ball more effectively with Will Howard in place of Kyle McCord. And there you go. At number 5 on our wide receiver list, Carnell Tate, Buckeyes. And as we make our way through these rankings, keep in mind, these are the best players. These aren't necessarily going to be the players with the best stats. A couple seasons ago, I took some criticism for naming 3 Ohio State players as the 3 best wide receivers in the Big Ten. They were the 3 best wide receivers in the Big Ten. There's only one football. There's also something called a running game. So that may hold down some of these numbers, but these are the best players from 10 to 1. And of course, we looked at 21 total in the Big Ten, including this guy. Not just veteran players, not just returning production, but this guy may be the best wide receiver when it's all said and done at the end of 2024, and his name is Jeremiah Smith at Ohio State. Wow, the number 1 player in the country, not just wide receiver, the consensus number 1 player in high school football, won 3 straight state titles, in South Florida, hit up Bergen Catholic last year, the New Jersey State Championship team, for 17 catches, 321 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Caught 88 for 1376 and 19 touchdowns. And again, he's got a championship pedigree, and he is unbelievable. The raves out of spring practice are every day about Jeremiah Smith lighting up what is one of the best defenses and secondaries in the country. Yes, it may seem a bit ridiculous. He has yet to catch a pass in college football, but we've got him rated at number 4. Conservatively, Jeremiah Smith. Evan Stewart has to be one of the happiest players in college football. He's certainly one of the most talented. He was a number 1 rated wide receiver coming out of high school, went to Texas A&M. Well, you had issues in regards to the play calling. They switched offensive coordinators. They've had quarterback issues, mostly because of injuries. Good quarterback play at Texas A&M, but not great. Connor Weigman could not stay on the field in his first season with the Aggies this past season, and Evan Stewart's numbers suffered. But he still caught 91 balls the last 2 years with 6 touchdowns. Now he makes his way to Oregon, and he has got to be so excited. Duck fans, you should be excited as well. In a run-oriented attack, again, he caught 38 passes last season. He caught 53 as a freshman, number 1 rated wide receiver in the country in 2023. And he's number 3 on our list, Evan Stewart, Oregon. It's kind of strange that the season turned in by Emeka Abuka this past year was very similar to Jackson Smith and Jigba the year before, coming off a monster year that set each one of these players up to be a consensus All-America, possible Biletnikoff Award winner. Then the injury bug hit, and even more so for Smith and Jigba. Abuka still had a productive year with 41 catches and 515 yards, but nothing close to what he showed us in 2022. This guy is a technician in the open field, a superior route runner, can read the defense, read the coverage, get open. 74 catches, 1,151 yards, and 74 catches, 1,151 yards, 10 touchdowns the year before. Of course, C.J. Stroud was the quarterback. Put in McCord and then tack on some injuries, and those numbers dropped. But still, this guy is a premier wide receiver. At number 2 on our list, it's Emeka Egbuka, Buckeyes. It might be Big Ten blasphemy, but we give the number 1 quarterback in the conference and now the number 1 wide receiver to an incoming player from one of the 4 new schools. But hey, they can throw it all over the field, and even with Bo Nix moving out of the NFL, Dylan Gabriel in play, he's going to make most of his big plays throwing the ball to this guy, Tez Johnson. Remarkable last year. 86 catches, 1,182 yards, and 10 touchdowns. He gets the nod over Abuka because of the explosive downfield playmaking ability. At Troy, 227 catches. At Troy, 227 catches, almost 3,000 yards and 18 touchdowns. He burned Pac-12 defenses in his final 6 games with 4 100-yard games. Best wide receiver in the Big Ten going into 2024, it's Tez Johnson, Oregon. Thanks so much for watching here at the Voice of College Football. Keep in mind, you got newcomers to the wide receiver position from the 2024 class like Gatlin Bear, Oregon, Justin McClellan, Oregon, Mylan Graham, who shows up at Ohio State, probably won't get on the field, but he's one of the most talented guys, certainly. How about Brandon Innes from the 2023 class at Ohio State? Guys like Tyler Morris, who made that huge play against Alabama in the Rose Bowl, and all sorts of other guys. Daniel Jackson, a very consistent performer for the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Ty Felton as well as a guy that we've got on our radar. And Isaiah Nair coming to Nebraska via Wyoming, then Texas. And of course, with the Cowboys, he was a all Mountain West performer as well. Your comments, questions down below. Keep it rolling here. If you like the videos, watch the videos. We'll keep them going right here at the Voice of College Football.